Hey everybody, are you a soccer fan? Because I am. I played soccer in middle school and in high school I was co-captain of our team. I'm watching the Germany-Ecuador game. I was a soccer fanatic long before soccer became a thing in the United States. And so I've had this philosophical question on my mind during the World Cup. And the question that I've been thinking about is, win or lose, what are the best teams? You know, what qualities and virtues, win or lose? And so I'm at a restaurant and I'm just gonna sort of look for a random person and see if they might, engage with me. Sort of a Socrates Cafe pop-up. So, oh wait, this guy actually looks a little familiar. Let me, Ben! It's Ben Beckhart!
How are you? It's great to see all of you.
Do you believe in serendipity?
Good to see you. I do believe in serendipity, and it's great to see you, Chris. And I'm glad you're asking the questions that we all sometimes need
there's
to
even
ask
a cup of
keep us
coffee.
safe, and a good cup of coffee. So,
Wait, cheers.
Cheers to the coffee.
So Ben, and Ben, for the uninitiated, please tell us a little bit about yourself, because you're all about team. You're all about helping people discover that they're not islands unto themselves, but how they can discover those talents and contribute in ways that make for a better society, whether it's a private entrepreneur or whatever they do. So tell us about you.
Yeah, well, very briefly, I was in business for a very long time as a corporate leader, and it put us to the test, to determine, really shape and forge what leadership is all about. And one of the things that I'm most interested in is sharing with anyone who wants to listen and with the world how to become a stronger and better leader. Because whether you want to or not, and whether you know it or not, you are a leader. Even if you don't have a position of authority, what you do and how you act impacts other people. For example, if you show kindness, you are acknowledging somebody else, not only letting them know that they exist, but you're letting them know that they're worth treating with trust, dignity, and respect. So that is leadership in itself. But first and foremost, if you want to polish and forge your leadership skills, what I always suggest is start getting to know yourself, which is the basics of what Socrates.
The Socratic exhortation to know thyself, but you do it in a way. I can't even begin to tell you how much Ben has helped me better in my own pursuits of my endeavors, including Socrates Cafe and everything that spins off and is an offshoot of that. Ben, where do these hard-won skills, because it's not just skills, but based on, I would imagine, some really difficult, challenging experiences that you've somehow channeled in ways that make life more worth living for one and all. How do you do that? Where do
How do you hone them?
Yeah.
The question, you hone them in different ways. I mean, you begin at home as a child, and sometimes following some of the instructions or some of the guidance that your parents are giving you. If they're looking out for you, something as simple as washing your hands. You're developing a new habit that is basically keeping you clean and safe and healthy. But beyond home, and by the way, interacting at home with your brothers and sisters, if you have brothers and sisters, or interacting with your parents, you start honing, okay, and having consideration towards others, other than thinking about yourself, for example. The other way, another place you hone is at school, okay, and interacting not only with other students or with your classmates, and beyond school, in sports. And sports is a great way to build the discipline. Why? Because you got to set time off. You got to set some time apart. You got to make certain sacrifices. Sometimes you'd rather be watching TV or a wonderful series on TV, as opposed to exercising or building up your strength or your stamina, or your speed, or some technique in sport. But that also hones your leadership. And then there's experiences that, as opposed to thinking of them as a bad or a good experience, any experience you go through, okay, regardless, taking out the adjectives of good or bad, have something you can learn from, okay? And the question is, you always ask yourself, what am I learning from this experience that I'm living today? And what can I do? How will I face this experience? And one of the things I always recommend too is face it with positivism. No matter how bad it looks, how difficult it may be. I know maybe you may wonder, well, what if you're being mocked? Well, it's not a pleasant experience. I will admit to that. However, you got to think, what are you going to get positive out of that? And what can you learn from that? Could you have been more careful where you were walking or the neighborhood you went through? Or, could you think perhaps it really isn't one about you, it's about that person that mugged you, And there's different ways to reframe the situation and learn something from it and move on and move forward,
So, as you can see, this guy can out-Socrates. I mean, he is really such an extraordinary thinker and doer. So, let's segue into where people can come across your works, your books, and where if they might want to find out more about you on social media. Please let us know.
Okay. I've written 2 books, and you can find these books, and I'll tell you where, your favorite digital bookstore. But one book's on leadership, really, and it talks about my journey in leadership and what I found to be some of the competencies that we've repressed over time, and that I believe that if we polish them or we recapture them, we can become stronger and more highly, positively impactful leaders. And that book is called Lead with Character. The second book has to do, it's a personal account about how I lost happiness. And my intent is to connect with each and every one of you. The title is Untwist. Now, both are translated into Spanish, and you may find these books in any of your favorite digital bookstores, meaning Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Playbooks. I'm trying to think of the other platforms iBooks, of course. And so it's quite easy for you to find it. Both, in some cases, you can find it always digitally, and if not digitally, you can find it physically on your Amazon, whether you are in China, France, Argentina, or the U.S. You'll be able to find my books. You can find more about me specifically on LinkedIn. Okay, look for Benjamin Beckhart on LinkedIn, or you can find me also on Instagram. But I do prefer if you look me up on LinkedIn. Thank you.
And if you can also just write me, and I can steer you directly to Ben. But what's really cool, I've immersed myself in both of his books. They're entwined, but they're standalone at the same time. And I think that I would highly recommend that you read both of them to really get the full experience out of them. Ben has changed my life. He's this transformative individual. It's just good to have him in one's aura, and I'm so blessed. But Ben, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. It's been wonderful to be here with you and to break bread, which is always very, very important.
There's nobody I enjoy breaking philosophical bread and real bread with more than Ben. Thank you.